Hello, this is Vasu Deshpande from Easylib. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give an overview of how to set up the member parameters in the circulation module. You can set up the circulation parameters by profile, by category of the books, as well as the non-books. To go to the screen, you would want to go to the menu. Then in that, go to circulation module. Within that, on the left side, if you scroll down all the way down, you are going to see one screen by title member parameters. Okay, when you click on the member parameters, you will see this screen. So here you choose what is the profile of the member. So if it happens to be a student, general student, let's say this is the student. Okay, what it means is that the student is eligible to borrow total 8 books from the library. It could be a reference book, it could be issuable books, general SCST books, or reference books, or book bank books. Total 8 books he can borrow. He can reserve one item at a time, and he is eligible to borrow two non books like CD, audio, and so on, and he can reserve one of them. So, suppose you want to change the overall number of the books that he can borrow to, let's say, 12 books, and then you want to allow that person to reserve two books. So, you just go here and then press modify. Okay, now he is eligible to borrow 12 books. But which 12 books he can borrow, this entire parameter is set up over here by category. Suppose you want to the person to be able to borrow, let's say, 5 issuable books. So that is the parameter set up. Issuable books, he can borrow 5 issuable books, and he can keep them for 7 days, and maximum number of reserved days is 1. So today, if I reserve a issuable book, it will be held on my name for 1 day. Next day it's going to get released to somebody else if I do not pick it up. Fine per day is 2 rupees, and I can renew it 4 times. So suppose you want to allow the student to be able to borrow, let's say, 6 books. You just change it as 6 over here, and then suppose you want to allow him to keep it for 10 days. You want to change the fine to, let's say, 5 rupees. You can do on the screen whatever changes you want to do here. Do this and go all the way down and then press save button. So what it means is that general category student who is under the profile of a student, he is able to borrow 6 issuable books, and in addition to that he can borrow these many books. Okay, so in-house reading he can borrow 6 issuable books, 6 exam section 1, and so on. So if you do a total of all these, it comes to more than 20. However, at the overall level, you have set a parameter as he can borrow only 12 items. That means if the student has borrowed, let's say, 6 issuable books, he can borrow only 6 more special category books, even though it says 7, because this parameter is capped at 12. Okay, just for our testing purpose, what we are going to do, we will take one of the books which is in the issuable category and then try to issue that book and see. Okay, let me go to the circulation screen here, and I will choose one of the books which is 001,000. And if you go all the way down, the category of the book is issuable books. Okay, reference books may have a reference book category, SCST category. There could be book bank books, and so on. All the categories maintained in the accession register here. Similarly, for each student, the profile of the student is available over here. That is the profile. So this is the student profile. Now 21 EAC 012 is the student. So now we will go here. We'll try to issue this book to the student. So let me go to the circulation. Then I will put the accession number as 001,000. So now it is not issued to anybody. So let me try to issue this book to 21 EAC 012. Okay, the student name is Navya. Okay, so now let me try to issue this book. Issue. Now the software is already integrated with SMS, email, and all communication features. So that's why took a little bit time actually. So it sent an SMS or email to the student as well. Now if you go here, you see that Navya has already borrowed 2 books, including just released book 1000. So that is the book. So now let's go ahead and return that book. Okay, so let me return this book. So now, fair enough, 001000 book, now it's written. Let's go here And here, if you see, she has also borrowed one more book, 100. That is also in the issuable category of the books. So let me go here. What I will do is, again, I'll just go to, if I want to modify, I just come to the screen, choose the profile as a student. I will go here and I see so many categories. Issuable books, I'll just make it one. Okay, let's see what happens. One book, and I'll say modify. That means any student who is in the profile of students can borrow only one issuable books, whereas collectively he can borrow 12. So now let's go here and I'll try to issue the same book over here. I'll go to circulation, or I can use the clear screen to clear it up. 001000000. So this book I am going to put. Now let me try to issue the same book to the same student. Okay. So now I'll click on issue. Let's see what happens. So now if you see here, the message is that member has already taken maximum allowed number of items of this type. Please select any other category book. So basically what it means that Navya belongs to the profile of student and she is trying to borrow a book which is in the category of issuable books. Whereas in the parameters, we allow only one issuable books to be borrowed. So that's why it's not allowing. So now let's do one thing. Suppose Navya comes and returns this particular book, 100. So now let's say she returns this book. Okay, now she has written. So now if I do a read over here, so she has not borrowed any other book, right? So it's all blanks over here. Now let me try to issue that book 1000. So if you see here, this book, let me try to issue. So at this moment, she has not borrowed any book. So let me try to issue. Now it got issued. Reason, she is eligible to borrow one issuable book, right? And she had not borrowed anything. So that's why this time the system allowed issuing the book. Okay. Now let's do one more experiment. Okay. So now let's put 1001. Right? Okay. So now let me try to issue. This is also an issuable book. Let me try to issue this. Now again look at it, it's not allowing. The reason is that issuable books is only one. So let me make this issuable books as 5. Okay, so now she can borrow 5 issuable books. So let me save this. Now if I go back over here and try to issue this book, now let's see whether it's allowing issue. Okay, so now issued. The reason is that the person is eligible to borrow up to 5 issuable books. Okay, good. So now uh, let's try to issue one more book. Okay, I will just see now. This is 1002. That is all. That now look at it. This is an in-house reading book, right? So now let's see how many books the person can borrow under the category of in-house reading books. So now if you see here, in-house reading books, the cheap three books the person can borrow. So if I go here and try to issue, it should allow now. Let's see here. Now let me try to issue. Okay, good. Now issued. So the person has borrowed 2 issuable books and 1 in-house reading books. Okay, all right. This is good. Now let me go ahead and return this 1001. So now I will return this book. Okay, good. So now she has borrowed only 2 books. Let me do one thing. This time I'm going to change the parameter at the global level, not at the individual level. It says that 3 in-house reading books the person can borrow, 5 issuable books and all that. But globally, let me set the parameter as only the person can borrow only 2 books overall. Okay. So now let's see here. Now it's a saved. Only 2 books the person can borrow. Now the person has already borrowed 2 books. Now let me try to issue this another book 1002. Okay, this is an in-house reading book, correct? Okay, 1002 is already issued. Let me try to issue 1001. Okay, 1001 is an issuable book. Now let me try to issue this. Let's see what happens. The member has already borrowed maximum number of books allowed. Why it is saying so? Even though the person is eligible to borrow up to 5 issuable books, you have set up the global parameter to allow only 2 books. That is why it is preventing the person from borrowing more books. Suppose you decide that okay, you are going to give up to 10 books and then click on modify. So now let me go and try to modify this. Okay, let me go and try to issue again. So issue. All right, this time it issued. Simple. So now the entire circulation parameters can be set as explained by 2 or 3 different areas. One is by profile, how many books general student can borrow, how many professor can borrow, how many books principal can borrow, general staff can borrow, SCSC student can borrow, and so on. So each of the student, you want to make sure that student is put into a proper category, proper profile. So here we have put member ID EAC012 is a student profile. So suppose this student belongs to another profile, you simply change it over here and then save it. The person moves into that particular profile, and at that moment onwards, the circulation parameters will be whatever you have set up for that particular new profile, whether it's a lecturer, professor, or general student, and so on. Okay, so that is on the profile. The second one is category of the book. The category of the book, you can update the category by going to the accession register. Here if you see any book, I am looking at this 001,000. So now if I go down all the way here, 1000 1000 is an issuable book. Let me go and check the next one. 1001, this is also issuable. On the other hand, 1002 is a in-house reading book. Okay, suppose you want to move this category, change the category of this particular book from in-house to, let's say, issuable book. All you have to do is go here, modify this, that's all. Okay, then onwards, this particular books will be just like any other issuable books, and all the member parameters will be as per whatever has been set up for issuable books. So it does not affect the circulation which is already done when this particular was an in-house book. But once that particular book is returned, and then you try to issue it again, and it will be as per the current category of that particular book. Similarly, when it comes to the non-books, we have got non-books parameters are set by the non-book category itself here. Okay, non-book type and category. Again, you can explore this further, set the parameters correctly, and you can take the benefit of controlling how many books each student can borrow. Okay, so let me stop over here. Thank you. Have a good day.